Alex is in the hood. I'm in the cold, and it's good now. Everybody, welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Whether you listen morning, noon, or night, it's morning somewhere, and it's time to rise up. What you laughing at, Chuckles?
That was the most perfectly timed moment that I could have rugged you right before sending everything live.
It sounds
Just
like you're
reminding
about
people
to
this is
announce a
live.
baseball game for the New York Mets over the broad speaker, and I think it's because you're rugging yourself on the TikTok mute. Say something.
I was?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You had a microphone going both places. It sounded like now batting. Mike Piazza.
Oh.
Ta, ta, ta.
Oh, okay. Did you mute me over here? Okay.
Yeah, I got you. You're set.
Thank you.
You rugged me. I rugged you. That's how we do things here.
Are you not crispy right now?
I should be crispy. Crispy. Test check 1, 2.
I think your other mic.
Hold, please. You say something while I'm changing.
Something.
Check 1, 2. Test check 1, 2.
That's it. There it is.
Perfect. Excellent. Great. Thank you.
Onward.
This is the Rise Up Morning Show. It's your place for helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions, and obviously two guys who work in tech who still struggle to figure out how their smartphones and Google Meets work. I'm Evan. He's Alex. And if you've got a question about cryptocurrency, how do I buy Bitcoin? What gives crypto tokens their price? What are different crypto networks? Or why did Solana break the other day? It didn't. Then we're here to help you out, and we want you to join us at our free community. It's the place the show lives 24/7, discord.gg/riseup. The link is right here or right here, depending on where you're watching. Welcome to all of our friends all across the internet. We're going to be here later tonight for Rise Up After Dark. Our friend Blake from Myosin is joining us to talk about the wild, sometimes woeful, but often wonderful world of Web3 marketing. So don't miss that. It's 7 p.m. Central. And the best place to watch After Dark is probably YouTube. We just had a YouTube handle change. So hi to our friends on YouTube. If you're not there yet, all of our replays live on YouTube. You can find our past episodes with altcoin research, where we give grades on your favorite altcoin tokens. And we interview expert guests. And the handle now is aligned with our branding, the Rise Up Morning Show.
Finally.
So welcome home, hun. We'd love to see you there. Alex, what's going on in the news today?
Well, actually, just because yesterday was such a hit to dispel some misinformation about the Solana non-outage, I saw a couple people who I don't think this was necessarily misinformation. I think this is just sort of a general misunderstanding, but I see it all the time. So there are a number of accounts on Twitter and other social medias that kind of just report, automated on goings on in the industry. And one of the things that gets reported all the time is new USDT and new USDC being minted out of the treasuries. And without fail, there are always people who think that they are just printing money out of thin air. And I wanted to address it.
Okay, let's talk about it.
You can also usually read this exact conversation that we are all about to have here in the comment sections. And we don't need to spend a ton of time on it because it's actually pretty simple. It is true that they are fresh minting new stablecoins, but they do that in response to people buying them from them and collateralizing it. So as new people come into it's funny because these things are often viewed by people who may not have seen it before or maybe a little bit newer as like, oh wow, this is bearish. I thought that this was crypto, this was supposed to be harder money. First of all, it is a dollar-backed stablecoin, so it's just a tokenized dollar. If the dollar is pure trash, stablecoins are like a little bit better version. But the only way that they mint, and this goes for Tether and this goes for USDC, and actually it goes for GUSD and BUSD and a number of other different stable coins that are all issued by different people. GUSD would be the Gemini dollar. Binance has their own dollar. And there are tons. I mean, if you were to go look up how many stablecoin issuers, There
Yeah.
are a lot.
And there will be more, because
there will be
it's
more.
like what Alex describes is the mechanism of maintaining the peg. The whole thing that
Yeah.
makes stablecoins effective is that they are worth the equivalent of their like physical counterpart, their government money counterpart. And the way that they do that, because those currencies are changing in value all the time, and also because the supply of these tokens is being used in interesting kinds of ways, is to have these kind of mathematical ways to back them up with real world assets or adjust the quantities of them that are on the market. That's what helps them stay stable.
And you'll note, I mean, there are differences too in the way that these companies that run these things operate. For example, Tether is the biggest. And when you're the biggest, people like to complain about you, one. But two,
Come for him.
they have in the past not had, and it's still not great, but it's better. They've not had the world's greatest reporting on exactly what's in their reserves and exactly where everything is and exactly what all of the different ingredients are, because it's not just, and this is not the case for a single of the big ones, including Gemini, which I believe has the highest percentage of $1 to $1 back.
Yeah, highest collateralization rate.
This was, I want to look and refresh and see if there's anyone who's passed them or if that's changed at all. But that's why Tether invokes so much ire across the space, because there are people who are upset at the level of transparency that they have, which is not 100%. And of course, one of the widely regarded biggest black swan events that could happen would be a Tether depeg.
Oh, absolutely.
Would we overall survive long term? Yeah. Would it be catastrophic short midterm? Absolutely. It would call so many things into question. It would be not well taken. But that also means that the perma bears love to sit there and yell about it happening inevitably.
The Tether FUD.
Just keep that in
The
mind.
perennial Tether FUD.
Yeah, Tether FUD is sort of a mark of the market being down and fear being high. So just sort of keep that in mind. But I mostly wanted to bring it up because you might see tweets. Tether did not depeg recently.
No, but they might have temporarily moved off that
there's
happens all the
wiggles.
time. Yeah, there are wiggles.
If you look at the track record for any of the big ones, there are wiggles.
And I see RLUSD in the comments. Ripple
term.
stablecoin, definitely. Yeah, wiggles, technical
big
term,
one.
highly technical term. Their most promising product, I would say. I'm interested to see what kind of partnerships and adoption they actually secure. Stablecoins are the killer app for crypto. People are transacting trillions of dollars in volume. Had a happy finger on the trigger there. Trillions of dollars in volume, and people are using them unlike anything else in crypto. Like even Bitcoin, the adoption rate pales in comparison to how many people are actively right now around the world using stablecoins to do meaningful things. So,
well, it's access to a better currency in token form than lots of people have access to in wherever they are.
That's right. That's right.
I've gotten a lot of comments and questions and messages from people in Central and West Africa asking about just using stablecoins in general to preserve what money they have, because it's a safer way for people with hyperinflationary local currencies and lots of heavy government involvement in their day-to-day money happenings. It's a way better option. So anyway, don't be alarmed if you see tweets from Whale Watcher and stuff like that about Tether or the USDC Treasury minting 2 billion new stablecoins. If anything, that is often looked at, in my opinion, I look at those as being kind of bullish indicators, because stablecoin treasuries minting and releasing new supplies is an indication to me that new money that was not in there is now going into stablecoins. And there are a lot of market trackers that you can watch and look for to see the inflow and outflow of stablecoins, how much money is going like from Bitcoin to stablecoins or Ethereum to stablecoins, and then stablecoins back into volatile assets, kind of using that to track overall market sentiment and, where the big money thinks the market's going to go.
Yeah, and just on that topic, I know we had a couple good questions that might shift the topic, but I want to say this while it's relevant, because Jason asked a really good question about interest rates. We talked a little about the Bank of Japan interest rates coming. The nature of the way that we lend or borrow money in the world and the way governments or other companies might decide to issue money is changing. And interest rates have always been an important factor. You'll hear people talk about this a lot. You don't have to be an economist to understand it. When interest rates are low, borrowing money is cheaper. You're paying less money to borrow money. When interest rates are high, borrowing money is more expensive because the rate at which you must pay back your loan increases in terms of the percentage you pay for every dollar you borrow. And when countries like Japan increase rates, it can attract foreign investors who are looking for maybe a better return on something like a bond. It can make assets denominated in their currency, if they raise interest rates, more attractive, pulling capital away from alternative assets. And without getting too deeply into like, should you be concerned or not? It very much depends on what you invest in. It can be a simple macroeconomic indicator. If you're somebody who's like, wow, economics scares me, that can be a really simple thing to start paying attention to make yourself feel a little smarter, because you'll notice when rates go up, people move. When rates go down, people move in different directions. I would just encourage you, if you're looking to become a more data-driven, informed investor, whether you're doing stocks, bonds, crypto, anything, it's an indicator. It's easy to find information on and start learning about, but it's not one you need to be super fearful about. That's all I wanted to say, because that was a really good question, and it's a topic you can go super, super deep on. I can't go super, super deep on it, but I think that's helpful, hopefully. I saw the question you responded to, Alex, and I'd love to address a question to new folks, but where do you want to take it?
Yeah, so it's also worth pointing out that Coinbase did finally yesterday issue an official from the big gold checkmark account statement about everything that went down the past few days with regards to Solana.
Did they?
Yeah, I thought they took about 20% accountability. I'm not overly pleased with the way that the whole thing was handled. I think it's like an understandable problem, and I don't know why we can't just admit like what happened. But they did admit, I'll pull it up here, actually. They did admit that it was not Solana, it was them. And
fact check yourself, brother.
Just how many hours they still expect for settlements, and how they've just ended up having to reject and cancel lots of transactions to return people's pending funds to them. It's a decent thread right here.
A decent thread, he says. Drawing out that E means it's probably indeed pretty decent. And if you're somebody, especially who's new, because I do want to, we have a question coming up about how do you buy or sell cryptocurrency from your wallet? I want to encourage you. There's no such thing as a stupid question here. One of the comments we see a lot on this show is, hey, this might be a dumb question, but, and if that's you and you're feeling shy about speaking up, like, don't feel shy. If you're feeling character limited, or, you want to ask your question a little more quietly, the Discord is really a good place. You're not on TV there. You know what I mean? The link is on screen here and on screen here. So while Alex is looking it up, that's a great time to join. Okay. Gonna make me do the screen share, aren't you?
Always.
Okay, hang on. Here I come. And tell us, Alex,
so
what Coinbase said.
Opening tweet here. We want to address the delays customers using the Solana blockchain on Coinbase have been experiencing due to unprecedented Solana activity. Your funds are safe. We're taking action. Blah, blah, blah. Classic. Giving users access to their funds as soon as possible. We're clearing all of the pending transaction sends in our backlog. Funds from these will shortly be available back in your accounts. So everything that's stuck in pending, they just cleared it.
Reversing it, basically.
You may retry your sends. We expect to be able to process these without delay. We know this has been frustrating.
That's like a B+ response. That's fine. What are people saying about it? How are they responding to it? Are people taking that?
Not fantastic.
Yeah, because a lot of those people wanted to buy Trump or whatever 36 hours ago.
Yeah.
So a fat lot of good this does them.
Yeah. So generally, there's a few people who are like, hey, thanks. Overall, it's just people saying like, I'm over this. Like, we're done. This isn't good. Like, there's still lots of people who are waiting months on responses from customer support about locked accounts that we never really got reasons for. Sort of some not great things. I mean, all of these are repairable. It's just like, you gotta this is kind of the Web3 thing. Like if you behave super Web2, even if you are just a general regular Web2 company that's like transacting in Web3 things, you sort of have a little bit different standard you need to adhere to. And the biggest one is just like honesty and transparency.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that actually one of these tweets is now gone because it was not being received well at all. They basically were trying to say like, yeah, the reason this was happening was because Solana had so much volume. Base had tons of activity too. And it was just like, dude, shut up. Like, yeah, we get it. But you know which exchanges like were able to handle both? Kraken. Kraken's been shit posting for the last 5 days.
Oh, I bet they love
that
it.
account is just going.
He's having a field
ham.
day. Yeah.
Binance. It's all of the. It's just like you. Just tell us what happened. Tell us what you're going to do to fix it, and then fix the problem. Don't also fluff me up about how much activity Base had when anyone can go check and compare and see that it was not even close in the last few days. And that's fine. It was a big Solana moment. There have been big Base moments. There will be more bigger Base moments. There will be more bigger Solana moments. Just say the thing. There's no need to do all of this self-pleasure at the same time.
Yeah, and it really, I get the sense that Coinbase support is overwhelmed. Like they respond late and they respond in public on mass communication platforms. And meanwhile, as you said, there are thousands of people who have individual issues that they haven't heard back on or haven't heard a satisfactory answer on. So the play for me, if I'm Coinbase's VP of customer relations, is we need to double, triple down. Instead of trying to increase the CBBTC yield or our USDC yield by 0.1% more, we should spend $1 billion and hire some significant customer support that can directly, personally talk to people and resolve some of these issues. Because unless we win this PR battle, like Phantom is going to eat our lunch. And then CZ is just going to, I don't know what CZ is going to do, but like he doesn't have to do anything hardly.
Well, and to be clear, Phantom broke too.
But I just mean to say, like in almost every area where they are competing, and they're competing in a lot of places, there are people who are doing a like faster, better, cheaper job. They're trying to be the everything store, but they don't have a good customer experience, or they have had a good customer experience, but they're losing that battle as other people start catching up or exceeding them. I don't know. It's tough. Yeah. I still recommend Coinbase, but it's becoming hard because many people have a tough time getting good answers.
I think that you can recommend an exchange that has a good interface, that has a good experience, and also tell them and just be open about the fact that they need to fix some shit. They got to work on a few things, which is, it's fine. It's fine to have to work on things. What's not fine, literally the only part of this that I'm annoyed by, is the messaging. That's it.
Okay.
I would say too, like just last quick pro tip, if you have money in Sol on Coinbase and you really want to get it out of there, you can try it again. I've seen reports that people are experiencing some delays, and some people are saying it's going through in a few minutes. You can also, and the annoying part here is that you're adding a step and a fee and a taxable event. But if it's really like urgent and you really didn't want to take the chance, you can always move things into stable coins, push things out on a different network to a hot wallet, and then bridge them back to Sol. Little convoluted, a little bit circuitous. I don't know. I think if it was me and I was like not doing anything urgent, I was just like trying to withdraw and send it out to my wallet for safekeeping or whatever, I'd probably just like try a little bit and see if it goes through. And if not, then I just wait till tomorrow.
Hello to everybody who's just joining us. It's good to see you all. I see a couple of rapid fire questions, Alex. I know there was a good question about buying crypto, and I don't have it because it was a few back. Do you have it? And on the way, can I answer this rapid fire question that'll help segue us? That says, why do I have to download XRP wallet and download another account for buying XRP? I don't know about you, man, but buying crypto is one of those things that I file under way more complicated than it needs to be. And the short answer is that not every wallet or exchange you might care to use, like Robinhood or Coinbase or Kraken or Trust Wallet or MetaMask or whatever, supports every cryptocurrency token in every network. So the important thing to understand first, where you got to start, if you want to purchase a particular cryptocurrency and somebody recommends a wallet to you, then you would go to their website, make sure it's an official website, that you're not clicking a link somebody sent, do a Google search, Trust Wallet. All these companies are big time companies. They'll come right up. Go to their website and then do some clicking around to find their support documents to see which kinds of tokens people can either buy on that wallet or exchange, or which they support. You might be confused by the term networks, which is different cryptocurrencies, just like different files on your computer have different formats. Different cryptocurrencies can live on different networks because that's what blockchains essentially are. We are networks in the sense that we are a connected group of people who are choosing to use a particular blockchain like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana. Not every cryptocurrency token has its own network, and not every cryptocurrency token lives on more than one network. So it can be confusing, but that's the best way to start is, what cryptocurrency token do I want to hold? Which wallets or exchanges support the purchasing or holding of it? And then it's easy to go from there and get some feedback on, does this one look like it'd be easy for me to use? Do I like it? Does it support other crypto tokens? Alex, I don't know if you have any other advice, but maybe that's a good place to get into the process of, if you're new and you want to buy and sell cryptocurrency, how you get started. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, for me, the first place would be, figuring out why I want whatever I want, and then just figuring out, okay, well, what do I have to do to custody this, and pull up the options. Like, for example, there was just a question about, Solana and the MetaMask experience. For example, MetaMask is an EVM wallet. So there's a number of blockchains actually that are not indexed or supported by MetaMask, for example. So if you run a MetaMask wallet and you really want to do Algorand or Cardano, sorry, you can't. No Bitcoin, no Solana, none of that. It's an EVM wallet.
Which means Ethereum virtual machine, only
Yep.
Ethereum mainnet or layer 2 networks. Those tokens can live there.
Or EVM compatible blockchains like Avalanche.
Thank you. Yeah.
Or BSC.
Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I would start. That's why exchanges are fine, especially to start with. Like Coinbase might have hiccuped here. Everything else was fine. It was just the fact that they weren't prepared for the Solana activity. I'll
tell you what,
Kraken,
though, the one point of contention I have with exchanges is they can also be more transparent about limits, particularly withdrawal limits. So before you choose Uphold or Robinhood or whatever, I would just do a quick Google for like Robinhood crypto withdrawal limits, crypto.com, deposit withdrawal terms and conditions, because it might be
times.
You buy something on Coinbase and you can't transfer it for 8 days. I just transferred $5,000 from my bank to crypto.com and now I can't use it to buy crypto for 48 hours. You know what I mean? Like, they're all slightly different. Those aren't causes for concern, but they're things you should know, and you should research that, because you should have not just a plan A, but a plan B. And that might significantly influence your shot. I think it's Robinhood or maybe Uphold, Alex, that has a $500 withdrawal limit per day. And I might just be making this up. You got to go verify it. But somebody has reported the frustrating experience to me at least once of not being able to withdraw more than $500 of a particular type of currency. So I still love exchanges. I use Coinbase to connect my bank to buy crypto. But that's because it's the one that plays nicest with my bank. I've figured out a pathway of fees.
Yep.
And that can be a good reason to join a community too, because you can get a lot of particular feedback about this person and this person and this person's, I live in Canada, I live in South Africa. This is what I use. Here's how it works. Are you okay?
It looks like I'm just looking. I'm falling into a little rabbit hole of like.
I was like, you had that look on your face that either you're concerned about something or you're into something.
It's just the convoluted methodology for interacting with Solana via MetaMask. You have to go through snaps.
What are snaps, Alex?
Oh, snaps are cool.
I actually haven't played with them since they introduced them. After that, I lost off. Do they have a lot of them now? And what are they? I bugged you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I can let me get the actual technical definition. It was just like a really cool little. So you know how there has been movement lately to clean up the user experience with all of these things. Not needing 19,000 steps to do something. Not having to reconfirm a transaction at every single juncture, but being able to sort of like lump some things together and make a little bit better user experience. Snaps, blinks, there's a couple of advancements that have happened.
Snap, blink, pop, crack.
I
think I remember eating those guys for breakfast once.
So it's just like little apps that kind of clean up the whole thing. Where did my screen go? That was weird.
Where did your screen go?
Just went full screen. Like, do you want to connect? No, not like this. But you might have seen like blinks, for example. So there's a Solana wallet called Backpack, Soulflare, Phantom, and a lot of these things got blinks integration. What was that, Evan? Was that last year? End of summer? Fall? It was not that long ago.
They got blinks after Warpcast got frames, so probably like
that's another good way to
Q1.
describe it. If you've used a frame on Warpcast, which is basically like, so if you're on Warpcast, right, you have your wallet connected to this decentralized social media platform.
So much jargon. We're killing
so
them.
much jargon.
Sorry, guys.
Bear with me. Honestly, though, like, I'm sorry, you got to learn the jargon at some point, and sometimes it's really not that easy to talk about something without using a few specific terms. But we can go into them if any of them are holding people
Basically,
up.
a way to do something that's on chain, crypto, in a social link that you might encounter on a website.
Yes, and being able to sort of connect your wallet to the thing and pre-approve permission to interact with these frames. Like an opt-in kind of a thing. So for example, if you wanted to mint an NFT, the hard old-fashioned way, you would find the place where this NFT was minting. You'd go to that website. They would have a wallet connection, which you would connect. And then you would, click the mint button and fill out the things, how many you wanted to do, or if there were any other options or whatever. And then you would get that transaction sent to your wallet and you would approve it. And as soon as you sign it, then you can come back and finish your transaction on the minting website, and then you would receive the NFT. Or with something like a frame on Warpcast, you can be scrolling through your Warpcast feed, see an NFT with a button underneath it that says mint, and go mint, and then it just goes to your wallet because you allowed it to ahead of time. And blinks were basically the same thing, except blinks were integrated with Twitter. So you could be scrolling on your Twitter feed and immediately do something that went straight to your Soulflare, Backpack, whatever Solana wallet, but function the same way. It was really cool.
Misty asks, do they do multi-sig or is it different?
What does who do multi-sig?
I don't know. I was hoping you'd understand. I think she maybe means I mean, we were talking about Snap, so maybe MetaMask. Clarify it for us.
Yeah, sorry. In general, I mean, no. On the user side, we're just talking about things that you're doing with your own personal wallet. It's sort of just like an opt-in kind of a thing. But like, no, you don't have to multi-sig to do that.
Can I lightly change topics to address this question from Lion Queen, who says, "I've heard the world will change money currency. That's why I was in a hurry to have a wallet." And that comment, the way you worded it, it makes me concerned. I would be really skeptical, and this is for everybody in the audience, not just Lion Queen. There are a lot of people on the internet who will present some puzzle pieces for you, some information, and then they'll ask you to do the work of connecting some dots between those pieces of information to draw a conclusion, usually that will make you afraid or excited. And it is an unsubstantiated thing, about the world changing currency because this Fed chair met with this president and then this interest rate went up. Connect the dots, follow the crumbs. The world is changing. Are you prepared? Usually, the people who are doing this have a vested interest in either getting you to believe something to drive money, information, or attention to them to make you dependent on them. That's how they sell you a product, or to scam you outright. And there are many scammers specifically in cryptocurrency who talk about changing world currency, switching, flip switching, QFS, system resets, all these kind of things. And they are all scams. They're unsubstantiated by evidence. And there are a lot of people who have lost money around scams that use language like that. So just know you do not need to update your wallet to the QFS. You do not need to get their specific help to upgrade your wallet. Anybody who reaches out to you directly, personally like that, is trying to scam you. So please, please, please protect yourself. Thanks for the question, Lion Queen.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
All DMs are scammers, Zenzetta says. Sorry, go ahead.
No, like I said, just turn them off. You can toggle your DMs on TikTok to turn them off. Just go to your privacy settings, messages, who can send, no one. Done. You'll never get another one again.
Also, Mr. Ripper had a really great question about churches launching crypto tokens. If the crypto space has churches making cryptos, are they tax exempt on everything also? And honestly, frankly, I have absolutely no idea. I've got to imagine that that's one of those things that the tax framework doesn't address or exist for yet. Do you happen to know, Alex? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Have to look.
Our friend Hester Peirce, congratulations to Hester Peirce, friend of the show, who has been appointed the head of an official crypto task force for the SEC. She's there already. She's one of the chair people, or excuse me, she's one of the commissioners, and she will be hopefully telling a better story about crypto. She's been telling one for a long time, but in a even more official capacity, helping us come up with some of the rules that will address probably things like that. Because crypto, it is different than, other kinds of assets. And the test we used for securities it's almost 100 years old, so it's time for an update.
Yeah, I mean,
almost as old as our Congress.
A couple things can be true, and remain, like I don't imagine that trying to, bully or pressure or financially motivate someone to buy your shitty investment vehicle, I don't think that's going to change or go anywhere. But the way that we base, and judge these like big companies that tokenize something, that needs to get cleared up. And if you are curious about the way that someone like Commissioner Peirce would run that sort of an agency, she has a lengthy track record of dissenting opinions against the actions of the SEC over the last how many years. Really interesting reads. I've done a couple videos covering it when she does like a big one. She does not pull punches. The best one would be after the Bitcoin spot ETFs were finally approved last January. I did a video covering her dissenting opinion, and it was great because she wrote it even though they had passed, basically just to say how the SEC had contributed heavily to the market manipulation around Bitcoin by making it a bigger deal than it should have been. She's like, these people met the standard of approval ages ago. They should have been approved as soon as the standards were met. Instead, we kept moving the goalposts, and we, the SEC, created this crazy hype and attitude and FOMO feeling around the approval of these ETFs. We dragged them out for so long. We are the agency that contributed to the upside manipulation of the price, and that wasn't okay.
Alex, was that the out damn spot dissent?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Out damn it spot.
It was really good.
Hester has quoted Shakespeare multiple times, and has we learned a bit of a curiosity about apiary beekeeping, and her aide Bill,
shout out Bill,
has very probably been at different times the most lethal man in Washington DC, both with his hands, which I'm sure are weapons of mass destruction, and his smile. What a guy. So polite, so kind and courteous, and you just know that man probably speaks 12 languages and is ready to go. When you
shake Bill's hand, everyone just feels like Ralph Wiggum on the bus.
It was Stanley Tucci energy, man.
Evan, that was a reference to a TV show called The Simpsons.
Yes, actually, I did get that one. I do know who Ralph Wiggums is, mostly from the meme.
First of all, it's Wiggum.
Great. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Oh, jeez.
We have a really good
God
question
love
here.
ya.
Alex, I'd like your take on, do you think Trump will make his major crypto announcement today, as he didn't talk about crypto his first couple days in office?
Truly no idea. Ross Ulbricht was pardoned yesterday. Maybe Justin Sun is glazing him pretty hard on Twitter today.
Yeah. For
which I
people who
guess-
don't know, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I guess
Justin
if
Sun, OG crypto bro, said, "I owe all my success in crypto to real Donald Trump."
Yeah, it was quite something. And apparently all you need to do to get a shout out from the billionaire Justin Sun is buy $5 million worth of TRX. So pro tip, if you want a shout out from Justin Sun on Twitter, just spend a few $1 million. Yeah, no, we have no idea when, if, what announcements are going to come out. There are several that we're tracking. So for anyone who's curious about at least at my order of, which ones I would like to see and which ones we are looking for, probably the most widely talked about is the idea of a Bitcoin strategic reserve in the United States, which probably looks like several phases. Step one would be committing to not sell the current custodied Bitcoin that the United States government holds, which is about 200,000 Bitcoin, and probably to transfer custody from the current hold there, which is the U.S. Marshal Service, to like the Department of the Treasury, for example. Could be they could do something specific and special for it. It's hard to say. All bets are off. However, personally, I think that the single biggest, just my opinion, I'm very open to people disagreeing with me, but in my opinion, the thing that would be the biggest event would be enabling staking for the the Ethereum spot ETPs, and being able to earn and pay out a dividend to Ethereum ETF holders. If I could buy some of the spot Ethereum ETF in my Roth IRA and earn staking yield, I would. I think that would be huge.
I think that's the one he has the greatest vested interest in, as we've seen from his buying activity the last couple of days. So I am not sure if that's going to be a more urgent priority for him to speak on, or if it will be the last thing to come out of his mouth, because we've talked about this behind the scenes. I don't really think he's going to get aggressive verbally or in terms of policy on crypto until his bags are packed. Because when Donald Trump starts saying, we're going to turn staking on, it's done. If that doesn't resurrect Ethereum, then it might be time to go.
and I'm glad that Crypto Twitter is doing what I would call a pretty decent job of pointing out some of the problems here, and the fact that insider trading is still rampant, and the fact that nothing has really changed. Someone might be friendly, but why are they friendly? Mostly self-interest. Fair to say. So if I was a betting man on things like that, I would say, watch the World Liberty financial wallets, see like how much they just bought a bunch. Do they want more? Probably. And how many other huge tech CEOs and bajillionaires now have a vested interest also in probably bag stacking? The institutions are constantly late to this stuff. They have been. We were here first, and that's a big problem for them. So I would imagine, just like Evan said, bag stacking needs to happen before we go full bore.
Yeah. We had a really great question from our friend Scott over on YouTube, asking about Ripple versus the SEC and securities more broadly. What makes the definition of a security, and why would a cryptocurrency be a security or not? And we're going to answer this question for you, but the first thing I want to direct you to is we actually have a really great video in our YouTube playlist for Rising Up. We used to do this show as like a recorded podcast. It was called Rising Up, had a banging intro, if I do say on myself. If you want to see like little Evan and little Alex and little Mac Lorden, I think Alex was rocking his, mustache pretty hard. We have an episode, I believe it's number 5, with our lawyer at the time, Andrew Bull, and he gives a masterclass, breaks it down real simple, like what is a security? Why is the SEC concerned with crypto assets that may or may not be securities? How do you determine what are the risks as somebody who launches a cryptocurrency token like that or invests in one? Because you can be at risk too as an investor. But Alex, do you want to give the quick pitch, man? What's the test and what are the prongs to determine if something is a security or not?
Okay, so several things need to all be true at the same time for something to be in securities territory. One, we're looking for common enterprise, which basically just means money is being collected from different places and going into the same place. Someone is collecting money. That you have an expectation of profit or return. So you expect that the money that you are putting into this common enterprise is going to return to you an increase in whatever you put in. You have the expectation that you will profit from this. Based on the work of others is the next prong. So you are expecting to contribute money and to a common enterprise with lots of other people, and that someone else is going to do the work to generate that return for you. So what was the first? I mean, the first
investment of money. Common enterprise. Orange Groves.
Yeah. That's what I.
Yeah, there was an Orange Grove that said, "Hey, send us some money. We're over here in Florida. You can't grow oranges there, but we can grow them, and send you some of the profits."
Yeah, you pay us to help us grow more oranges, and then we will sell the oranges, and then you will get a return on your money. So that's the whole Howey test. And as you can see, there's definitely like some pretty clear cut, like, okay, XYZ is a security. Just because it obviously fits these things. So, for example, your favorite influencer, what should be your least favorite influencer,
or your favorite president,
launches a common enterprise that you can contribute money to, sit there and wait for the dev to do something, and return profit to you. Security. So do I think that unfairly that standard has been applied to other things to put them in the gray area? Absolutely. Yes, I do. I think that there's way too much nuance to simply have that test. But
I agree.
You cannot say that people who just like launch a meme and then shill it and then encourage you to buy it because it's going up, bro.
Right.
They are doing something wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's not that securities are bad or even illegal. What it is that if you have a security, you must register with the SEC. You must get their appropriate kinds of approvals, and then you got to trade it in only the right places. Apple stock is a security. That's why you got to go to the stock exchange to buy it. It is governed and regulated, and there are rules about how you got to report gains on it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, how it can be sold to you. Like those things protect investors. And honestly, they do. Just a quick note for Donald Trump or anybody else who might be curious, saying this is not an investment vehicle, contract, or a security does not absolve you of legal responsibility. If you're breaking the law still, then sorry about it.
The best way to think about that, as silly as it sounds, because this is just like so commonly misunderstood, saying not financial advice and then following that up with a bunch of unsolicited financial advice is the same thing as saying I'm not robbing you and then holding you at gunpoint while taking your money away from you. Just because you told me I'm not being robbed does not negate the fact that you are standing here with a weapon stealing my stuff.
Exactly.
You know what? I encourage you to go before a judge and say, but Your Honor, I said #NFA in my caption. I'm good, right? No. Spoiler alert. You're not good. Telling me you're not committing a crime doesn't stop the fact that you just committed a crime.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The question go ahead.
Because people keep sending me defamation lawsuit threats. That's my opinion based on reading. This is a gross misrepresentation of the facts.
And that's just bullshit.
Just like it's my opinion that I'm standing in my office right now. It's my opinion
I
that
will
violating
absolutely die on
securities
this.
laws is a crime.
Okay, got some good questions for you. Did
let's
meme
move on.
coins replace NFTs? There are similarities. They have no utility, no market value, market oversaturated. I would not say they replace them. I think they're very different vehicles. And I think NFTs are a great example, as are potentially meme coins, of how a crypto could not be a security. For example, if I started a fan club and I gave all of my fans some of the Evan token, didn't make it liquid tradable, and then used it to track, people who want to follow my podcast, instead of following my podcast on TikTok, you can register your wallet and I'll send you a token. Could be fungible, could be non-fungible. You could trade it with your friends, see who collects the most. That is not a security. That could be fun and cool and cute. Maybe the person who collects the most this month will get a Rise Up Morning Show mug. Maybe they'll get an NFT with like a picture of my face on it. Things like that are not buy this because it will be worth more someday. Buy this, we're all going to get rich together. Like, those are great uses. Buy this, and hey, if you come to our conference one day, you can get $10 off a ticket. That'd be great.
Mhm.
Totally cool.
Yeah, no, both of them are honestly fine if they're represented properly. So an NFT being used to denote XYZ or protect someone's artwork, or to secure digital IP, to protect a digital art creator or a digital medium creator of some sort against piracy. Like, all of these things are valid. Just because the waters got muddied by monkeys in board shorts doesn't mean that the tech itself is garbage. And honestly, I would go so far as to say that meme coins are kind of more like getting to a more honest, like, representation of what it is. Like, it's getting harder and harder and harder to look at those as anything other than what they are, which is just flat out gambling. Which is fine. Like I always say, the existence of Las Vegas doesn't mean that my 401k doesn't mean anything anymore.
That's
You
exactly
just have to
right.
know what you're doing.
Good afternoon to our friend Robbie on the other side of the pond. Wherever you are, whenever you listen, we're so glad that you're here. We're so glad to be back on TikTok. We're happy to be with you on YouTube, on Facebook. Shout out to our friends on Twitter and LinkedIn. I will say, to our friends on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, we do have a hard time responding to comments. So if you've left a comment, we don't always see it in the live stream. I'm so sorry. Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
What?
So if
You got
go
like
up
the
to
second
top
phone
of-
out?
No, if you go up to the top of StreamYard and just click whichever destination is and drop it down, you can say view on, and it'll take you right to the feed for all of those, and you can hammer out a response really quick.
No. Well, you probably can do that in your spaceship of a computer. I bet that's going to open a whole new tab and probably take me to a whole new place and
Yes.
crash the whole stream.
Yeah, don't worry about
Alex
it.
will respond to you on
it.
LinkedIn and Twitter. I am
Yes,
so
I will.
glad to see everybody here. If you've got a crypto question, this is the place for it. We got about we got plenty of time left. We'd be glad to hear from you. Imsfar
So there was
says, gave me an idea.
There's a question about the total crypto market cap. What was that?
I don't know. What was it?
That was me. I'm holding, my headphones are in my hand, and I must have just like opened the lid just enough to connect to my phone. It was weird.
Oh,
Sorry. If you just heard a sound bump. Anyway, total crypto market cap for this cycle. I have no idea, obviously.
Oh,
And I think it's like such a hard thing to guess because, I'm curious, what does the Magic 8 Ball say?
buy the dip.
Okay, thanks, Magic 8 Ball.
Not ideal.
I think it depends on so many things. Like, for example, if Ethereum staking gets turned on for the spot ETFs, that by itself changes the picture. If it doesn't get approved, I think that changes the picture. World Liberty Financial is currently non-transferable, is the comment. Yes, that is true. It is a non-transferable governance token, and that is fully disclosed on their website.
A couple of things, though, about that. I don't mean to derail you from market cap, but since we're addressing misinformation, and this is interesting, too. So I have a subscription to the Messari dashboard. Messari.io is a great research company. They spend a lot of money to bring you the best inside info on Twitter on crypto. God. And they actually published a report saying, hey, did you notice these tokens were not transferable? And I was really surprised at that, because if you didn't know, It's very common for early investment deals and venture deals to, in crypto, say, hey, you're spending money to get tokens that are just for governance. You're not going to make any money. That's illegal. You can't sell these. Definitely can't sell these. You definitely can't sell these. It's going to be fine, but you can't sell them. You know what I mean? I wish Will was here because he would do the performance of it. But even though Sol started that way, AVAX started that way, it didn't discourage people like Chamath from investing money. They spent millions of dollars because they understood that one day, even though these tokens are not for sale, somebody would create a liquidity pair. Somebody would make them transferable, and a whole audience of consumers who wanted to use the network, who needed tokens in order to use it, and also who would want to speculate on this stuff would need a way to buy the tokens. And at that time, according to the terms of their investment contract, they would be able to sell them. And they sold them. So it is a time-honored tradition of like venture capital in crypto that you can't sell these tokens. But the only reason, let me be clear, people are buying these tokens is because they expect to sell them. Do I think it's possible that Donnie Trump, who's already made his money, could rug those people? Absolutely. Do I think he's going to? No. Why? Because he's going to stand to make way more money on the upside if he can have an operating DeFi protocol that can generate fees and revenue for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's necessarily a cause for concern. Sorry. And that would be something that contributed big to the whole market cap question is like, you know, if World Liberty Financial becomes an exchange that the president is talking about on the news or his sons are talking about, and the average American is starting to get into DeFi in a big way for the first time because they can buy crypto with their credit card or whatever, that would change the market cap picture. Right, Alex?
Definitely. I just found some news that you are going to be really into, and it distracted me.
Oh, I thought maybe you were sad because I, took it in a different direction. What's the news? You better give it to me.
The OFAC sanctions on Tornado Cash have been lifted.
Really? Wow. Yes. I don't even know if I've been playing this sound too much. I'm going to add on top.
Yeah.
And also, because that's big news.
Okay. You are more intimately familiar with the Tornado Cash case, so I'd prefer it if you gave the overall overview here. But this is a big deal for this is a big deal. The U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals filed today. Today. Paul Grewal just retweeted it, but this was from Cointelegraph a couple hours ago. Yeah, that's a big deal. So sanctions against Tornado Cash officially lifted.
Okay. All right. Great. That's wonderful news. I think there's a possibility for appeal in the future. This is something that could go to the Supreme Court. This is the most important lawsuit happening right now in crypto. Bigger than Coinbase, bigger than Ripple, bigger than Uniswap. It's the biggest. It's absolutely the biggest and most important lawsuit happening in crypto. And if you want a rundown on it, I think the best conversation I heard about it was on the Unchained podcast. I'll post a link in the Discord to a conversation with the legal counsel at Variant Fund talking about this. Essentially, Tornado Cash, they are a mixer, which is like if I and Alex and somebody else want to maintain our privacy for a valid reason, we might line up to use this mixing service, which takes our crypto in and then puts it out in such a way that even reading the blockchain, you can't tell who's in is tied to which out. It maintains the privacy of people who might want to preserve it for any reason. It is a piece of open source software, meaning they built it and now anyone anywhere can use it. They are not a part of maintaining Alexei Pertsev and Sergey, his name is escaping me, the two developers. They're not a part of like running a business that supports the people who use it. They just coded this thing and now it lives in the world. Anybody anywhere can use it. So there's not a company behind it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's just going to, for anyone curious about the implication here, the implication is that writing code is or is not considered speech. And that's the question here.
That's what I'm getting to is there was a lawsuit brought against them that what they did enabled money laundering, enabled criminals, and that their actions were illegal. And as Alex says, the implication is that anybody who codes something somebody might use to do crime somewhere on the crypto internet could be prosecuted for it. Could you imagine if that was enforced, how it would stifle innovation because people would be fearful to create
Because
anything?
think about how many tools have been invented that serve a purpose that's useful and helpful.
Should we jail the inventor of the knife?
And also could be misused. It shifts the responsibility for, legal and ethical action from the perpetrator of the bad to whoever invented the thing that they used to do the bad, which is just an extremely dangerous precedent, in my opinion, to set.
Agreed.
I mean, think about
yeah.
It's the now. Are there exceptions to this, or I should say, is there nuance to this? Yes, absolutely. If these people built Tornado Cash and then were personally assisting people who were money laundering or financing nefarious activities or crime or whatever, if they were helping them use the tool to do that stuff, absolutely, prison, straight to jail. But if what they did was write code that someone misused, you can't do that. I could not disagree with that more. I totally respect that there's nuance, and I totally respect that there are ways that they could have done something malicious and nefarious, and you would want to get all of the information. But if the thing they're being gone after for is writing the code, I don't think you can do that.
Ruzen says, kind of sounds like how PayPal got started. Absolutely. And
Telegram, we just saw this with the Telegram CEO.
Yep.
And, trying to be held accountable for messages that people sent to and from each other on Telegram. Amfar says that he thinks it's the not knowing. And I would agree that it is worth at least an investigation. It's worth asking them. It's worth doing some sort of a check if horrible things are happening with a tool. But to the Jane Show's comment, are we going after the Federal Reserve based on how much crime is committed with the US dollar? Are we going after who established the dollar as the currency? Are we going after MasterCard and Visa or PayPal or Cash App or Fifth Third Bank or Wells Fargo for holding people's money after they sold drugs or something? No. We're going after some people who built a crypto-based protocol that can do exactly what cash has been doing for ages. That's horribly slanted and wildly hypocritical. And you can't do that. I'm sorry. That just makes that is so slanted. It's not even funny.
The lawyer in the interview I was talking about said something about how if cash was proposed, if it didn't exist and it was proposed as a tool to Congress today, it would almost certainly be something that they would strike down if they understood it well, So,
really good additional comment in the chat over here. It's, so are we going after Elon for posts on X? That's another great one that you could use to demonstrate where you could or couldn't or should or shouldn't, right? Like, no, if someone posts something terrible on Twitter, is that Elon Musk's fault for owning the platform? No. How could you change that dynamic if he's retweeting it and amplifying something awful, right? But that's then a different and separate action that someone like him could take to change the nature of the action, not simply creating the platform upon which, and plus he didn't create Twitter. So, it'd be a different conversation anyway.
Yeah, different conversation. Really important though. That's very big news. Yeah. Thank you. I'm bullish.
For the record too, this is why the Ross Ulbricht stuff is a big deal and controversial. Because awful things were bought and sold on Silk Road. So, and in the question, in the whole thing, just like, is Ross culpable for that after creating it? And there I would agree that the same conversation would need to be, what, if any, involvement did Ross have with the facilitation of those sales of weapons, drugs, people, and if not, if just built marketplace, I hate to break it to you, but really shady stuff gets sold on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace all the time. So put Zuck and whoever made Craigslist in the same conversation.
Speaking of Craigslist, do you remember Missed Connections? Can we
Yes.
bring that back? My God, what a great! Kim was talking the other day. You know, when TikTok was going to go away, about what we need is MySpace, but I also think there are some OG internet things we really need. We really
Dude,
need misconnections to
Think
come
about
back.
misconnections, on-chain misconnections, where it's like, hey, you minted so and so. Who are you?
Yeah,
Anonymous stranger.
I feel like crypto people would love that. Yeah, Amsfar points out too, also about the SEC came knocking at Elon's door because of
Yes,
the way
but-
he's wielding his influence as a public figure, also the head of a major
Well,
social platform.
okay, but to be clear, the SEC's gripe with Elon has to do with disclosures in and around the acquisition of the company to manipulate the stock price at which he was purchasing.
Yes, and maybe I'm
it's
thinking of
different
the
than-
previous lawsuit that they had against him too, which was also
Okay.
about like, I
Yeah,
think it was
sure.
justified personally.
I don't even know. No, I think the new one is justified as well. But
I agree.
The fine that he would pay, it's like in the time it takes him to write the check, he made all that money back anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh my God, Atlantis Morissette says someone wrote me as a misconnection once, and I met them, but it didn't end well. Oh, I always wanted to be a misconnection, and I lived the kind of life around the kind of people that I can't believe I never was, or maybe it's more poetic that way that I was, and I just didn't know about it. Man.
Wild.
Anyway. So Alex, can you give a quick preview about Blake for tonight? Just to say, like, the conversation we met Blake. If you're somebody who wants to know more about like working in Web3 in blockchain, about the state of Web3 marketing, about the kind of things that companies are thinking when they're going to market.
Talk marketing for sure.
We're going to talk marketing for sure. He's partnered with Myosin, the company he co-founded, is like a network of marketing professionals who are trying to help Web3 companies tell a better story. So they've touched a lot of different people. They put us in touch with Wormhole. We've gotten to meet and talk to. They've worked in the past with Ripple, and Blake has. He's a handsome man with beautiful scarves. So I'm hoping that he has some neckwear tonight.
Well, and we the reason actually that I was initially interested in meeting him. So we met him in Prague at the Emergence conference, and so the setting was we're at this like marketing workshop, and they had brought a couple founders up on stage to sort of like make a pitch to this panel of marketing experts and then get feedback. I'm like,
it was cool. It was kind of like After Dark. They'd put their, websites up on screen, and they'd all talk about it. What can we do with this?
And
Master.
I'm sitting there watching this being like, dude, if you're the founder, you're getting a free multi-$1,000 marketing and messaging workshop right now for free. If you don't take that opportunity, you are dumb. And and now granted, the concession I'll make in defense of these two founders was that they did not know that this was happening like this, and the plan was to be in a like private session with these marketers and like do the thing, and then Stellar hosting this marketing event was like, let's put it on stage in front of everybody and do it live. And they made that decision like that morning, so people were like a little bit nervous, and we're not prepared for it. And it's easy to forget that not everyone is used to public speaking and presenting and all these sorts of things. So a little bit of grace there. Yeah. But the reason that I immediately fell in love with Blake is because he was trying so hard to ask questions and like give feedback, and it was not being received well. And these people were so defensive about their product. And Blake's just sitting there like, okay, never mind. I guess. Sorry for doing the thing I'm here to do for you. Like, I'm trying to help, And I was just like,
very courteous and
professional. And I was just like, dude, I don't know how you kept a straight face through that whole thing. He's like, bro, let me tell you, it was not easy. So I'm excited to get a little bit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That is at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central tonight.
It's going to be right here on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere you're watching right now. You can watch it tonight.
And if you
from
are
7 to 9.
unable to get there, of course, the recording will be on YouTube and also on Twitter.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
As soon as it's over.
Going to be a great episode.
Okay.
Alex, when do you think this so-called alt season will begin?
As my father would say, anytime real soon now.
Anytime real soon now.
It's it's anybody's guess, and I think that we're sort of in a holding pattern because of how much uncertainty there is. And the second things crystallize a little bit more, I think that people will like. I don't believe you can sit here and just say, it's going to be March, it's going to be August, it's going to be whatever. You can guess. I mean, I love guessing. Go for it. But I think that some specific things need to happen, like news or like I said, clarity wise. Like, I think you could see altcoin season push if the new SEC comes out and just drops, like completely ends, all whatever. I mean, and we have no idea what could happen, right? Like, it might not just be an end to the Ripple SEC lawsuit. It might be like a formal apology and like a retract. It could be like a totally different chair or panel being like, we fundamentally disagree. This was not done in good faith. Like, we have no clue like how it could go. There are so many things up in the air right
Honestly.
now. Ethereum ETF staking. We have no idea if the strategic reserve is going to be announced in 10 minutes or in 10 years. We have and in the interim too, even in lieu of the federal government doing it, states are doing it. 11 states so far. Quick shout out, After Dark next week, January 29th, Dennis Porter will be back on the show, and we are definitely going to be talking about reserves and all the work he's been doing. 11 states so far have filed legislation to legalize the custody and the collection and the purchase of Bitcoin on the state's behalf as part of the state treasury, strategic reserve. So 11 so far. He says another one is right around the corner. So even if the federal government doesn't get in there, states are trying to front run right now. All of these things, are ingredients to the pie that is altcoin season. And I think, people are, I think, like this is my opinion. This is my take on the market sentiment from looking at social media, from looking at whatever. We're on the edge of a knife right now. Several things can be true. I don't think personally, Evan, I'm very curious to get your opinion on this. And Chad, I'm very curious to see if you guys think differently too. I personally believe we are closer than we have ever been to an actual decoupling of Bitcoin and everything else, because it is very possible that we rocket Bitcoin dominance up with the implementation of multiple strategic reserves at the same time, while no new news really comes out on the altcoin side yet. I think you could see a split of things like Ethereum. I think you could see a split of things like Solana if they just keep lapping everybody with demand and, activity. I think that multiple things are in the works, and we are like on the edge of a knife, waiting with bated breath to see which direction whatever's going to go. And I think that people are they're just looking for an excuse to full send right now, is the vibe that I get.
They absolutely are. And like you said, what I think is it could happen a number of ways. I think the Bitcoin decoupling is very possible. I think
we've already seen it, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in the 4-year crypto cycle theory. I think, honestly, there's a macroeconomic cycle that is bigger, that is probably about 4 years, that influences everything. If there is any kind of cycle, I think the halving has been priced in. I think, I think it's what I'm kind of thinking is that there are so many variables that it will probably take a slightly different form it won't repeat itself history, but it'll probably rhyme. I would not be surprised if we get a Bitcoin strategic reserve, some kind of legislation, and that takes Bitcoin way up, and then Trump stacks his ETH bags, and when he's ready, he announces that staking is turned on and World Liberty Financial opens and you can stake ETH there too, or whatever, and then ETH has a crazy run, and then maybe, as people kind of expect, other altcoins run here and there and everywhere, and then it all comes down. I also wouldn't be surprised if there's like a dark alt season where somehow Trump makes it illegal for companies like Aave to serve U.S. customers, and only World Liberty Financial can do it, somehow. And then, those tokens rise and ETH runs or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it could happen a lot of different ways. But the macro picture is so primed. Everyone is ready, as you said. Just any excuse, they're ready to blow, I feel like.
No, you have to think about that stuff, because with the big dogs making a swing and currying favor with administrations, then they're in control. They're in the driver's seat, which is not phenomenal. The part that makes crypto special about all that is that you get to participate in it, and usually you'd be manipulated out of it through the stock market. But I mean, I think that we set a very dangerous precedent by allowing TikTok to go dark, even just for a little bit. Just the ability to turn on and off applications to all of America and have it be widely not really that big of a deal. Like barely anybody in Congress is overly concerned about this. So all that sort of stuff, you know, I just I think that it's, I would like to say it's unlikely, but it is not a non-zero. Worth keeping in mind.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's a good question. And we'll certainly be talking about it on this show, all the different factors that as we see them coming will contribute to it. And that's the big thing I want to emphasize here is like, you know, a lot of people are coming to crypto for the first time. We're so glad you're here with us. And if that's you, if you're wondering, you know, is now a good time to invest or buy? I feel like I'm missing out. Slow this thing down. We are so early to crypto. You absolutely don't at any time want to make a decision because you feel like you're going to miss out. That's not the thing to do. It's always a good time. And this is financial advice, in my opinion, to start learning about crypto, to see if it's even something you want to spend more time, attention, or money on, because you may not. It's kind of difficult to get in, but the best way is to make sure that you're in touch with other people who are doing it, that you can ask some questions to, you can share what you know, you can get a second opinion if something seems scammy. Spend a couple bucks. It doesn't have to, you know, as much as you'd spend on ice cream or a pack of gum, on some stable coins to learn how cryptocurrency works, or buy a couple bucks of Bitcoin just to see how it makes you feel to watch it go up and down these next couple of weeks. And then whatever decisions you make in the future are going to be more well-informed because you're calmer, smarter, you know more people, and you've been consuming more information. That's the killer move. Your experience points will level you up. Anything you do as a level 5 investor is going to be smarter than whatever you do as a level 1 investor. We spend a lot of time and money getting it wrong, so you don't have to. So I don't know, Alex, if you'd say anything else to that, but it's a long game. You're in the right place. It's a long game. Don't fret. Missa says, I joined your Discord. Woohoo! I love it. I'm off to teach 10-year-olds how to code and do long division. Have a great day. Absolutely. Yeah. Rebecca, thank you for being here with us. And thank you guys for being here with us. It's almost that time where we're going to give our final thoughts and ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset. So if you have a last-minute question, suggestion, good joke, word of wisdom, please leave it in the comments below. This is a great time to take a screenshot of the Discord link so that you can jump into the free Rise Up Discord server. We'd absolutely love to see you there. Alex, what are you kind of thinking here as we take our dogs and ponies off into the sunset and wrap things up?
I think just the public service announcement that you should turn your DMs off on any platform that you are using to learn about crypto or finance. That means TikTok, that means Discord. Do not respond to any DMs that you receive. You're not missing anything, and they are overwhelmingly likely to just be a scammer. Nothing good happens in the DMs. So, you know, have conversations in public. If you want to talk to your favorite creators, especially here on TikTok, leave a comment on a video and look for the reply from the one who has the blue creator label next to their account, no matter how many other ones look like them with a similar profile picture and username. That might leave you a weird video response sending you to Telegram or to WhatsApp. It's really bad on TikTok, and I do not know why they won't take at least a few steps to make that go away. But that's the world we live in, so just ignore them. Same thing in Discord. Don't respond to any DMs. None of us are ever going to DM you. These are the only accounts, the ones live on the screen right now. There are no backups. There's no secondaries. I'm never going to like get in a weird bind and have to reach out to you so that I just need your help right now. I had someone who sent me screenshots from someone who was like, hey, because of the ban and me talking about this controversial topic, like I have restricted access to my main account. I really need help. All my funds are locked in that one. Like if I've ever taught you anything, like literally taking direct quotes from things I've said in videos and sending them to people.
So dirty, dude.
Like they're never respond to a DM. They cannot hurt you if you do not answer them. That's all they're doing. They're fishing. They're just fishing for information. If you don't give it to them, there's nothing they can do about it. All they can do is annoy you. Yeah, that I mean,
Alex does not speak Arabic. That's correct.
I do not. No, it's true. I don't speak Arabic. And I mean, one thing that someone texted me yesterday too was like, "Hey, I was talking to you, and then your grammar was bad, and I realized it wasn't you." It was like, listen, I am a stickler and a curmudgeon for bad grammar. I will never text people without punctuation. So there's your first clue. Someone spells words wrong and doesn't put periods and commas in the right place. It's not me. But if it's in a message, it's not me either.
I want to give one more commercial before we go, which is to say that if you're in the Discord, I'm about to launch today the sign up for our newest live class, which is our good friend, Mr. Will Watson, has agreed to teach a technical analysis class. We're going to have 15 slots to the live course, the premium and premium plus members. If you're one of those folks and you haven't signed up yet and you want to, go. Your early access is open. Don't forget to use your discount codes. And then everybody else, watch for the link in Discord. I'm going to drop it soon. Those slots will fill fast. And if they do, you can buy a recording of the course for like $15. And it's definitely going to be good. You can also pick up Will's TA tools PDF and his research template, the one he actually uses, at like a deep discount. You can get it all, I think, out the door for $25. Or you can sign up for a premium membership trial and then get that discount code and get it all for like $15 out the door. And you don't have to fret or sweat about it if you miss it, because we'll be selling that recording forever. Will teach more, and we've even got a technical analysis channel. If you're like, what's his technical analysis like? I need to look a little deeper. Totally free. Yeah. Alex, are you being raptured, or is it just snowed and bright there?
So for anyone curious, I live in South Georgia, and there's like 3 inches of snow in my front.
It was like Jesus is standing outside your window, dude.
I know.
Like, man, that's bright. In the snuggie in the snow. Can we get a picture of you making a snow angel in that snuggie? Would Christina allow it?
I'll be honest, I have
thing
no
would get
interest
wet.
in doing that.
Yeah, I believe
I'm
that.
not going to do that.
Completely.
Plus, it's Georgia snow. It's like very icy. It's not like nice puffy Michigan snow.
Not that Michigan stuff. I'll tell you, when we got snow here in Memphis, we got 8 inches and it was perfect. We made a snowman. I'll maybe post a picture of it. Me and and Kim did a lot of work for this. And our nephew Argus next door, he wanted to make a snowman, but he wanted to make it a Minecraft snowman. So we, took some tools and made the bottom blocks into perfect squares. I was very proud of it. And put a pumpkin on his head. It was the most unique snowman I've ever built, and it turned out pretty good. So go build a snowman with Jordan today. They're out there.
They're already out there screaming and throwing.
Well, then let's do a roundup. Let's do some final thoughts. If you didn't have time for your question, if we missed it, the Discord really is the best place for it. But we will be back tomorrow. We're here Monday through Thursday, and it's always a good time to learn about crypto, whether you're listening morning, noon, or night. The only way it could be better is is if we all had morning show mugs and we all had Snuggies, but we're working on it. It's not the top yet. Crypto gods make us rich so we can do it.
Coming to the merch store.
Yeah, exactly. Alex, what's your final thought, brother?
Honestly, just in the wake of all of my PSAs for scam prevention and whatever, I'll say you can avoid 98% of the scams in crypto by never answering a message that you get. And I will say that there would not be this many grifting shithead scammers trying to steal from you if this wasn't a big deal. So you're in the right place. And if you can learn to weather all of this nonsense, the opportunities here are bonkers.
Yeah. And you do not have to be a super rich person or a highly technical person to get started. It can be as easy, like I said, as spending a couple dollars in a couple minutes learning about how stable coins work. It's so much faster if you get in a community and have somebody else to ask questions to get a second opinion from, help you avoid the scammers and schemers out there. So take your profits, don't FOMO in, and then come back and hang out with us. That's all we've got today. My friends, thank you for joining us and being the best part of the Rise Up Morning Show. Everybody have a great day. And until next time, stay safe, be well, everybody.